Hello, hello. Welcome to our week-long 200 interviews celebration here on the Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. We are on day 2. OMG, I'm not sure what is going on here. You probably see two of me on this screen. It has been a challenging last 5 minutes to try to get this to work. But you know what? Champions adjust and we keep it moving. We don't stop the show because we have an amazing group of past guests that have bring their stories and their journeys here to the BALM Global podcast. And I am super excited to reintroduce them to the world and just see what's been going on since their episode. So again, I am so happy that you are joining us on day 2. It's a little like, I'm not sure what's going to go on or what's going to happen in this next hour, but we are going to make it happen. Unfortunately, we are not streaming to YouTube, which is supposed to be streaming to YouTube. So we're going to keep this rocking and rolling. I'm your girl, Nikki C, all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Building a Leadership Mindset podcast was just a thought February of 2020. Still in corporate, still figuring out what I'm going to do. I always knew that I wanted to just give the message of fixed and growth mindset and really how do you create your own path. Fast forward 2 years after it was collecting dust, doing nothing with just that one video, always thinking about those limiting beliefs, perfectionism, all that good stuff. But I met my community, because that's what I asked for when I turned 40. I was 20 in 2022 and got for a community all over. And after starting this as a solo podcast, when I resurrected it on the audio side, got into some communities and started meeting some amazing people, traveling all over, connecting with individuals. And we are here to celebrate 200 episodes of Leadership Mindset podcast. That just goes to show you maybe an idea that has been birthed and you really don't know where to take it. Maybe it was just a starting point, a seed planted, something that was created for something greater later. And that's what this has been. First, training you to succeed all the way out of and the passion community. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much to Top Fox for sponsoring our Taking Off the Shades Series 1. We are actually in production of starting Series 2 for 2026. More to come on that. But we're going to get right into it. We have some amazing guests in the green room now. So we're going to bring them up one by one. They're going to share who they are, what they do. And once we get them all on here, we're going to continue the conversation. And we are going to tap into just again, what do they have? What has 2025 looked like and what is 2026 looking like for them? So first, we're going to go over to an amazing soul that I had been able to meet, not just on this little screen, but in person. I had the pleasure of having her as one of our keynote speakers at the official BALM Global Business launch as she bring some amazing things to that. And we're going to actually show a video of that. And she's on there. So we're going to bring up Margie Duncan Jacobs. How are you, beautiful?
I'm great, Nikki. Hi. Nice to see
How's
you.
It going?
Happy holidays.
Nice. Yeah. Nice to see you two in double because I have the double screen going on.
Thank goodness there are now two of us. I said, thank goodness there are now two of us.
Yes. So we are being duplicated. Thank you so much. Tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from, and what has happened since you joined the BALM Global podcast family.
Wow, so much has happened. So thank you so much for having me. I worked for 40 years in a 9-to-5 job. And then I moved from Vermont to South Carolina, which is where I am now. And just felt this tug to do something different. And I got into the speaking world. Then I wrote my first book. Then I've now written 5 books, 4 of which hit bestsellers. And so it's just been a journey into this speaking world and impact world and meeting beautiful entrepreneurial people in my journey. And I've tried many different things and coaching programs, but I'm now just mentoring one-on-one to have actually people scale. And that's really fun. I have a momentum reset program where we put you through that, and then you're making money by that 30 days. So it's all been a great journey, but honestly, where I am now, I'm learning this AI. Everybody's like, "Oh, I don't want to learn AI," but it's here, it's coming, so let's embrace it. That's what I'm doing.
I I
Unfor-
love that. I love that. Yes, AI is the new thing. If you are not, I'm sorry, we're having a bit of a delay. Not sure what's really going on here.
See, this
The
is what
devil is a
happens when
liar because we're making
this
this
is
happen.
this is what happens when powerful people get together and the universe gets nervous that we're going to like make this incredibly awesome. So,
Yes, absolutely. So you were just in hair and makeup to get on to get here to share. Thank you so much. We are going to bring up some of our other guests, and then we're going to keep this rocking and rolling. So sit tight right there, Margie.
okay,
We'll be right
thanks.
back. We're going to bring up, yes, you are welcome. We are going to go and bring up another amazing individual that I was able to meet also through the Connected Leaders Academy, and she is Bethany Stone. Hey, Bethany, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Good.
We are good. We're having a little bit of challenges here, but we're gonna make it happen.
That sounds good. If it's not challenging, then it never was worth it.
I love that. So tell us, where are you tuning in from? What's been going on? What do you do?
So I am coming at you from Rigby, Idaho, which is we usually have like a foot or so of snow at this time, and we have no snow, so that is odd. It's warm, a warm winter for us. And I am a master mindset and life skills coach. I am a Montessori educator of 23 years, and am now just an adult Montessori teacher. That's what I do. I've been speaking at educational conferences for over a decade, and now I speak as a motivational speaker to high schools, to corporations, still to educational conferences as well, and to leadership conferences. And I coach. And what I've done is I have created a curriculum, because I've been a curriculum coordinator for so long, to help people with self-care. So 5 different areas of self-care: your emotional, your spiritual, your physical, social, and intellectual. And within those 5 areas of self-care, there's about 52 different life skills. And so I teach people those life skills and basically the same theory and philosophy and just how to learn, same way that, Jeff Bezos and the founders of Amazon, well, he is the founder of Amazon, but Google and Facebook, all of those people, they all learned through Montessori education. And now I'm just teaching other people how to think like that too. Google. Yep. And
Awesome.
Google.
Sorry, I was trying to see if we were live on Facebook so I can tell my team. But you also have, Bethany, you also have a love for dance.
Oh,
Am I
yes.
correct?
I'm also a ballroom dancer. I do. I still teach ballroom dance, and I teach bungee fitness as well. So those are things that fill me, that I need to do because I teach self-care, so I have to live it, and that is part of my self-care, is making sure that I'm teaching something that I love. It fulfills me. And my husband and I, we teach adult classes, and we teach Lindy swing, and I don't know. I love dancing. I love gardening. I love a lot of things. There's not enough time or big enough books to write down all the things that I love.
Thank you so much for sharing. So I know when we first talked, I told you as well, like I have a love for dance too. When the beat turns on, guess what?
Yeah.
Some part of Nikki's body is moving, and it doesn't matter what genre it is. So that's really like just that gravitated me to you amongst all the other amazing things that you're doing. I'm super excited again to have you on and just see what's been going on. So we're going to bring up another past guest and then we're going to get this conversation started. Sounds good? This gentleman, I met him through also the Connected Leaders Academy, actually through the Born to Risk. Met him in person on a yacht. Had a great time to get to know him. And I am super excited to have him back. And he is Paul McFadden. Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hello there, my beautiful humans. How are all of you doing?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Oh, well, it's been such a long time. What's going on? Who are you? Where are you tuning in from? And what is it that you do?
Well, it's been a while, and a lot has changed, and certainly there's been a lot of evolution. I'm Paul McFadden, CEO of Evolve Human Potential, the founder of the Becoming Human 2.0 movement, and then creator of the Alignment Codex. And I think the last time we spoke, there was a lot of things going on, but I'm now here in Tampa, Florida. I was in the DC area a long time. DC resident. I'm born and raised, so I'm a true Washingtonian. And I moved to Florida back in the middle of the summer, back in June. And so where to begin? So much is going on, but I guess I'll just kind of summarize it on a high level. I integrate neuroscience, conscious leadership, and then transformational strategy to help executives, entrepreneurs, and culture shapers sharpen their focus, elevate their influence, and really get aligned to expand their impact in the world. And that's really where I'm putting a lot of my focus now, on this alignment and the codex, and helping individuals figure out which areas in their space, similar to Bethany, emotionally, mentally, cognitively, somatically, more spiritually, and then certainly in the area of legacy, understanding where there might be some misalignment, where they need to get in tune, where there might be some drift, get back on track and make the impact and influence people that influence in a way that's going to leave the legacy behind that they'd really like to create. So I'm here, happy to be back. And I had you on my show as well. So, I'm happy to, we can talk a little bit more about that as well.
Yes, that was an absolute amazing time. Thank you so much for, again, just staying connected, for saying yes to coming back. All of your episodes were so powerful, right? This is building a leadership mindset, right? We didn't all have it all together at once. At some point, something may have happened that made us move and made us take an action. And I would love to know what that mindset moment was for each of you. So we're going to start with you, Margie.
So what the mindset shift was, is that your question?
Your mindset moment that make you start taking action into entrepreneurship.
I know the exact moment it was, because my daughter was a pretty troubled teen and had a lot of issues. And it was her senior year in high school, and she was getting an award after pushing through a lot of challenges and really overcoming things. And I remember I worked at a university, and I walked into my boss's office and said, all my work is done. I came in 2 hours early. I would like to leave. My daughter's getting an award, and they would like to have me in the audience with my husband. And so I'll be leaving early. And her question was, have you done everything for the faculty that needs to be done? And I said, yes, I have. And I was very obedient. And then she said, well, let me think about it. And I said at that moment, I won't say what I said in my head, but I did say, oh, heck no. No, this is not how life is going to go. So I'm going to this, and I'm making that executive decision. So I was very polite and said, you know what, this means a lot to me. I am going. Let me know if you have a problem. But I turned at that moment and said, No more am I going to let somebody else tell me how I get to live my life, how I get to take my time, how I get to celebrate my family. And so it was then I just started planning. How do I get out? How do I get out? That was it.
Yeah. It takes that one nudge, right? That one comment, that one act. Something usually has to happen in order for us to move, especially when we get comfortable where we're at. It's routine. We're doing the thing. We may not have any issues and problems with, our coworkers or managers, but it's still the sense of power of our time, right? And how we want to live every day and how we want to see our day. Like, what time do we want to wake up? Who do we want to hang out with every single day? Do we want to be stuck behind a cubicle? But it's crazy where you have to ask permission to take your child to a doctor's appointment. Just even that, it's like, what? I'm going to be denied because there's not enough staff and just all that stuff. And it's great. But thank you so much for sharing your mindset moment. We're going to go over to Bethany Stone and see what her building a leadership mindset moment was.
What made me be able to jump into entrepreneurship and my mindset moment, I guess, would be that I had a son that got sick, and I needed to be available for him. And that meant selling my school. That meant coming home and just still teaching, because that is who I am to the soul of everything I am. And to be able to still fulfill me and meet all my obligations, I just needed to just have things look a little bit differently. And that's what I did. And it's been wonderful and beautiful. And it's beautiful when you can meet your needs and everyone else's around you. And I think that when you do entrepreneurship correctly, that is what happens.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Again, this is another example of something that needs to happen before we take action, right? I'm sorry. My throat is itching. My water's over there. But I'll ask Paul the same question and I'll come back and give my feedback for both. Okay? Go ahead, Paul.
Awesome. So I want to fast forward. I've told the story a couple of times. The exact moment was in 2016. I was faculty coach and facilitator at a prestigious leadership summit or institute called the Global Institute for Leadership Development. And I had already been an entrepreneur there when I got there, maybe 13 years. So it was already in my blood. But at that point, I had, achieved a certain level. I'll say, you get to a point where you feel like you achieved all the status and the titles, and you've got the notoriety, and you help the big names, achieve certain things. And I got invited to this prestigious conference, if you will, for leaders, and this is for Fortune 100 companies. And I got an opportunity to meet with one of the founders of that organization, Linkage, and one of the persons who was on the board, and also one of the keynote speakers. And he and I had a conversation for about a week. But the first conversation we had, he said to me, asked me a question. He said, "Paul, what are the 2 most important days of your life?" And kind of like, what do you want to do when you grow up, type of stuff. And but he asked me in a really funny way. He asked me a mathematical question. He said, "Do you know what 29,200 represents?" And at the time, I didn't have the answer. I mean, I had the first part of the answer. It's the day you're born. But the second one was surprising, and it landed pretty significantly for me at the time. And the second most important day is the day you figure out why. And, so that comes down to purpose. And initially, there's this thought about that you have to find your purpose. Everybody's searching for purpose. What's really surprising is that purpose exists within already. And really, so it's more about aligning to what it is and then kind of doing what you're called to do. And sometimes you get that answer. And it's great, right? Because you align to what you're called to do. And of course, that can shift from year to year or decade to decade, depending on who you are, and kind of what you're feeling called and intuitively know that you need to follow. And sometimes you never find it. Some people never find it till, they're on their deathbed. And even then, they feel with regret. But it was that moment when I understood that 29,200 was the number of days you had in this experience. Did a little bit of life math, figured out what I had left. And so it's like, okay, something needed to shift, because even with all that notoriety and all those levels of status that you think you achieve, there was still that feeling that something was missing. And that was the legacy part, wanting to have an impact, and not just have an impact on the people around me, but, in my close circles, but having an impact on the world, and knowing that there was a bigger message that was inside, that needed to be shared. And so that was the bug. That was the moment. And ever since then, that's what everything I've done has kind of, been building on.
Of course, I was on mute because I didn't want to cough in all of your ears. But I love that. I love that we talked about it on your live, and I remember when you said that when you asked that question, the moment you know why, it just brought chills to me, or the day, right? So we know our birth dates. We know, we were when we were born. So I'm gonna just feed off of that question and just ask anyone if you can put a date that you found out, when you found out why you were born. Can you give us that date? And we'll go with you first, Paul, because that's your question.
Yeah, so for me, that was September 15th, 2016. And the interesting part of that is, it's like you don't have to have a clear picture, right? You just know you're meant for more, and you're meant to, and sometimes the thing that you're doing is not giving you what it is that you feel like you need. I mean, it's such a complex question, because when something's missing, something's out of alignment, and sometimes we go our entire life trying to figure out what that is. Like I said, people go through life maybe asking the question, never figuring it out, or if there's a missed opportunity there, here, or missed opportunity there, and all the research on purpose really comes from talking to people who are coming to end of life, and they start talking about the things that they didn't do, or the regrets that they may have had. And of course, and that's real for all of us. And we spend so much time focusing on some of the small things, and that never really fulfill us. And life, it's, I'll give everyone else an opportunity, but I kind of feel like life kind of gives us this experience, and we're here just to experience all of it, all the ups, all the downs, all the goods, all the bads. There's no judgment. Just we're supposed to have the experience, and hopefully learn from it and grow from it. Sometimes your purpose is not in the work you do. Sometimes it's in the extracurricular activities that you experience and that you connect with. It could be, definitely, I didn't know you were a ballroom dancer, but it could be dance, right? That's the passion. That's the thing that's driving. It could be your children. It could be anything. Work is the means, but when it aligns with work, that's awesome, because you got, an amazing alignment with work, with life, with all of it. So, but sometimes it's not there. But that's, for me, that's when it happened. I knew there was something else, and I've been spending every year trying to figure out what's next. Okay, this is where I'm at now. Okay, what's next? Just never losing sight of you're never fully arrived. You're always moving towards.
Nice.
Absolutely. I know when my Y date came on, when I found out, and after starting the YouTube channel, like I said, it sat there for 2 years, and my moment was the moment, I knew I wanted to be on stage. I joined network marketing to hit the team, hit rank, and be on stage across the world. That was the mission for that. Never got there because Emilio kind of swooped in and he kind of just asked me that question, like, what is your story? And I was like, dude, I don't have a story. And that led to a whole nother conversation about how we all have a story. It's worth telling. We become the authority. And then I get on his stage for the first time in a speaker competition. And if I wanted to be on a stage, I had to put myself in a stage. So my date would be May 14, 2022, was when I knew why I was put on this earth. And that was to share not just my experiences, my stories, but be able to just speak life into people, period. And it just flourished from there. Once you know that, once you feel that, then everything starts aligning. And I agree, just to going back to your comment, like, I think we have more why moments than ever, because in seasons change, we pivot. We were born for many things, and it's just our job to walk the journey and figure out what those things are. So thank you for that, Paul. I'm going to go to Margie and ask her that question as well. What was your date? If you could put a date on it, it can be a year. What was when you found out, why were you put here on earth? Like, what was your why moment?
July 15th, 2022, New York City, with a microphone in my hand and an audience that had tears. I knew. That was it.
That's my son's birthday.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's crazy.
Oh my.
So you have a 3-year-old son?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, he was born in 2005.
So I know exactly when it was. I know when I looked up and saw tears in people's eyes that I had impacted in a way, and I knew why at that moment. And ever since then, I can't get enough of it. It's never, ever been about me, ever. It's about the why that makes them cry. So there you go.
Yes. Thank you so much. And we're going to actually see her in this footage at the BALM Global business launch, and just her energy. I want you guys to pay attention. We're going to go to Bethany next, but then we're going to go into a commercial break. I didn't do this yesterday, but I think it calls to bring up this video. Go ahead, Bethany. What is your why date?
I was trying to think of my why date while everyone else was talking, and I don't want to give you a date because then it'll age me. But I'm going to tell you how old I was. And it was when I was 3. And I knew when I was 3, I was, the kids these days, they just say, you're just built different. I was just built different. I just knew. And I knew, and I was determined. When I was 3, my mom took away a Tootsie Pop. And I knew how to solve that. I knew that if I grabbed silver coins from my piggy bank, I could take my little tricycle on the highway and go to the gas station and go get another one. I knew that I could do that. And I did do that. And I knew I was supposed to stay on the other side of the yellow line. Like, I knew these things, and I knew which Tootsie Pop I wanted, and I just had that consistent, drive of knowing what I want and how to get there, and a clear plan. Even though I didn't get to keep that Tootsie Pop, needless to say, and I did get brought back home by, a man who knew me, who was standing in line because I was in a very small town. I didn't get to keep that Tootsie Pop right away, but I did find that Tootsie Pop later underneath my mom's bed and ate it. But I knew that I had a drive, and I graduated early. I just did everything because I had that no, and I could see it, and I could walk that path to get there. And that is always what I've done. But it was when I was 3 is when I knew it.
I love that story. It never gets old. She mentioned it on her podcast way back when we recorded the first time. And I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah. She knew. She went, she got her coin. She went to get the Tootsie Pop. And sometimes, I don't know if we've ever like dared to do that with our parents. Have we ever had that moment where they just couldn't find us or we did something we weren't supposed to? Just kind of sit in that a little bit. And now as parents, we're like, oh my goodness, I know what I did. So I have to watch our kids all the way around. We do have another guest in our green room. But before we bring her on, I'm going to share this quick video of what's how BALM Global started 1 year after that speaking competition and launching our first live event. Here you go. We are back here with some amazing past guests from the Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Did you see, Margie, your fist pump? I love that video. That stands out to me so much. And every time I see it, I play it a lot in between my recordings for the past year and a half, however long I've had this video. And every time I see that, I'm like, I need to talk to Margie. Like, I need that energy. So just wanted to highlight that. We actually, the Empower to Inspire is on tour right now. We are on mission to go to all 50 states. We're looking for amazing speakers across the world when we go into your state. So definitely connect with us. If you go to empowertoinspire.com, you can actually fill out the speaker application. You can check out what we have. We're actually headed to Houston, Texas in May of 2026. That is our next stop. So definitely check that out. I'm going to bring up another guest. We're going to get her caught up here. Just met her. She was connected through one of some other community members. I believe it was Daniela and Marilyn. One of them two or both of them even connected us. And she is Carly Wolf, and we have been rocking and rolling for a couple months. Welcome, love. How are you?
Good. How are you? And I see some great faces here as well.
How are you doing today?
Doing really well. I'm excited. Right, like when you see people.
Yeah, you see a double screen here.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna say, like, there's the connections that got us in, and then I got Bethany, Paul, and I just did a conference over the weekend. We're making things happen in this group.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to give you a moment to share really quick who you are, where you're tuning in from, and what is it that you do? How do you serve?
Yeah. My name is Carly Wolf. I'm joining us from Baltimore, Maryland. And I am a career coach. I work with folks who are in that pivot of kind of what's next, right? Getting clarity of where they want to go and how to make it happen. So if you're sitting at home or at work right now, and you're thinking, gosh, I just really wish I could be doing something like more closely aligned to what I love, or I want to go out on my own. Like, how do I figure that out? That's where I meet people. And also really passionate about the future of work and AI and how that's going to move us forward, both with careers, but also in our communities. So that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. Well, we are so happy to have you. You just were like in the nick of time when we were completing our 200 episodes. I was like, I need you on. I need to fill these spots up. And you were like, let's do it. we made it happen. So it was super exciting to just have a conversation, to showcase your story along with all of our other past guests. And we're not closing out. I thought we were going to close out 2025 with 200 episodes. We're actually at 202. We just pushed them out today. So there's 2 more amazing episodes. First time history for BALM Global Podcast. We got a trio. So we have a 3 women business that was just they just got interviewed on Friday. We posted it today, so check that out. I am all about just making these connections, just bringing these stories onto this platform because it's about building a leadership mindset. And this is one question I'll go back to and have you answer, Carly. And then we're going to go into like what's going on now and what does 2026 look like. So Carly, one of the first questions we asked Margie, Bethany, and Paul was, what was your building a leadership mindset moment? And what I mean by that is, when was that moment that you decided to take entrepreneurship and just run with it, figure out what your skills, talents, gifts were, and just make something happen for you? Like, what had to happen in order for you to flip that switch to say, okay, I'm going all in?
It's a good question, because I think this has come in like a couple different chapters for me. But I'm gonna fast forward to maybe the most recent one, which is like getting into career coaching. And I think, I started that in the pandemic. So there's a big shift in how people were thinking about work, where they wanted to work, what was purpose. And everyone was doing that out loud, because you're like, are you working from home? Not working from home? I don't want to work from home. I want to do something else. So I think that was just a different chapter, and wanting to be a part of helping people. That's always been a part of who I am, helping and engaging and connecting, and also wanting people to feel like they're bringing their authentic self forward. Like, that's something I always worked on when I was little, like trying to find fit. And I don't want people to have to like find fit. Like, what is it that's important for you? And like, let's get you there. So that's when I jumped in. And I think so it was cause driven, if you will, or like mission based driven in finding that opportunity. And I think I mentioned that's my latest one, but I think there's been other times in my life of jumping into that entrepreneurial or like business, and all of those are actually like born out of that. Like, hey, I want to be able to like help or make an impact in this space.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we've all been there, right? I think that's like our core vision, is we want to change someone else's life. We want to help do that. We want to walk hands with them. We want to walk alongside them, and be able to provide them the tools so that they can also make that happen, right? So let's say, what are we working on for 2025? Like, what is the big goal we want to close out with? Like, what is that one more mission that we have to at least check off the list? And what does 2026 look like? So we're going to start with Margie.
Thank you. I'm super excited to tell you, for the last 4 months, my head has been down on learning how to do very fun, creative, funny AI ads for companies and people, but small businesses. It's going to be a game changer. We literally just launched yesterday. I do have a free gift for everybody. I can drop that in the chat. And I'm just super excited at that we have reached a point in the world where everything might be going crazy, but opportunities are going crazy to let the person who maybe never could even imagine like $500,000 a year or beyond, now is very capable of making that happen in their life. And so we're bringing the economy up, and we're contributing back in the ways that we want to. So I'm super excited about that. And thank you for letting us have this opportunity to share about it.
Thank you so much, Margie, for that. Amazing. This on the show notes for sure. We're not connected to YouTube right now, so we're not live streaming. And I know what happened when I was setting it up. They have this landscape vertical option, and I selected that. I should have just left it at landscape. That's why we're double here. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and fix it. Champions adjust. We don't stop the show for this tech stuff. That's why I love what I do and what I've built as far as the culture of this podcast. That is the Hot Podcast. is the honest, open, transparent. Things happen. Nothing's perfect, but we still show up. So thank you, Margie, for that. Bethany, we're going to go to you.
Okay, so what I'm finishing this year with is I've actually kind of already started tapering down just because family is coming into town and I have kids that are young adults and they're bringing their girlfriends home. That is weird. They're bringing girlfriends home for the holidays. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. But so I'm already tapering down. But before I did, I decided that I really wanted to hit the ground running in 2026 with something that I've been asked to do for a long time, and is create a couple different communities. So I just created a free school community, and I gave Nikki the link, so that will be dropped as well. And this community is a leadership community, and there's going to be, I'm still building it. So if you join it, just know it is a work in process and I'm getting there. But it's right now, it's already set up that every Monday there is a free Q&A, just leadership call. And it's open so that we can, just as business owners, as parentpreneurs, as just somebody that is wanting to have that self-care connection in their lives, can have that network. And so that is what I'm launching, and it's completely free. And that's what I'm doing.
Congratulations. All great stuff. All great stuff. It's amazing when, again, you're moved to do something and people are asking you for it. Pay attention. Like, you need to take that, figure out how you can do it, splash you all over that, and bring people in, right? That's the power of community networking, just seeing what people are talking about. What are the trends? What are the buzz things that are going on? So much magic happens when we posture ourselves in that. So I love that. Thank you so much. You know, I'm all about community, whether it's mine or someone else's, or you're building your own, you have to be in community. Thank you. And I will be dropping that show notes. I think I'm already thinking about how we're going to get this back on YouTube once I download the recording and make sure all the show notes. So my guest asked me today, like, can I provide a free gift? And I'm like, well, that's not required, but this is the kind of people that I'm connected with. So I absolutely love that. So I guess, you know, it's in our messenger chat. So if anyone wants to gift something away or get something in someone's hands, definitely let us know. Send us those links and we'll be putting them in the show notes to all our past guests. Paul, you are up.
Amazing. So yeah, so 2025 was such a, I'll say it, you know, certainly a transformative year. It was a year of transformation and evolution for those who, you know, took the challenge. Finishing this year off, I just recently launched maybe a week and a half ago, a week ago, the Alignment Brief, which is a community for executive leaders, CEOs, founders, to be thinking about how they want to show up as leaders, particularly in 2026, and of course, obviously in the future. But you know, my prediction is that as we get into this next year, this new year, you know, we're going to start seeing different types of leaders. People are, you know, going to be the ones that are the busiest leaders. They're not going to be the loudest leaders. They're not going to be the one with the most tools and tactics. They're really going to be the ones that have more clarity. They're more coherent. They're more grounded. They're more focused and more aligned with purpose. And so I created that that briefing for those leaders who are looking at, you know, what's going on in the world right now. Like I'm actually taking current events and issues and really putting the alignment lens on it, so that, you know, obviously if there are situations where the leaders were acting in alignment, we want to continue. We want to mimic those things. We want to do those things, right? You know, we learn from the best. But also when there are situations where someone made a really bad mistake, right, we need to figure out where the misalignment is so that we don't make the same mistakes ourselves moving into the next year, and so on and so forth. And so that just launched. So that's really exciting. But I was on Focused virtual, the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference 8. I've been on 7 of those, and I was also in Born to Risk, which is where you and I met. So I have 8 anthologies, and that's exciting and it's amazing, right? And I think it certainly helps, get your message and your story out there, but more importantly, your message. But 2026, I'm already tuned in and have some drafts for my own books that'll be coming out in 2026, and there's 2 of them. And right now, I'm targeting my birthday weekend, which is in May of 2026, because why not May? And why not on your birthday? But as I said earlier, when we first did introductions, I talked about the Alignment Codex, right? So I'm writing 2 novels, or two books really, that will support that, explain what it is. Some of that's going to be the science of and the ancient wisdom of, but then some of it's going to be there's going to be 2 volumes. The second one's going to be more practical, how to, right? Because we can talk all the theory that we want to, but there's lots of great case studies out there, and certainly some practical strategies that we can implement to make this something that's accessible for everyone, or at least those who are willing to put in the effort to do the work, because it is about consistency, because that drives sustainability. And so, but you got to know what to do. Everybody's asking how. And so we need to give the how, because we can tell the what and the why all day long. We all tell that story, but then we fall short on the how, right? And the how can't be complicated. The how has to be something that can be implemented or implementable. So that's what 2026 is going to look like for me.
I love it. Tell them, show them the how. Absolutely amazing message. Love what you're working on. We're going to go over to Carly. And then, we have, I can't believe the hours went like that, with all these tech stuff. And I do have a 6 o'clock, ladies, the leadership call, but we're going to get this in. Carly, what are you working on for 2026, love?
Yeah, I mean, you asked about 25. I'll just keep it light, which is for me, it was about community impact, which I've been able to do here in Baltimore, Maryland, moving careers accessible careers forward, and also re-engaging in how we're thinking about the career conversations, which is coming through coaching. So for 2026, for me, it's expanding opportunity for folks to engage with me, to have those conversations about where they can go next. Also, we'll be opening up a few programs oriented more in the AI space. How am I making career pivots in AI will be a big focus. And love hearing Paul's story about the anthologies. I'll have 2 of those going next year. So excited to share some stories from both those perspectives, just kind of learning more of my leadership journey and how I'm thinking about connecting in the world. And so excited to engage with others in that realm. And the other part is just continuing also. I love the city that I'm in, so continuing some of the nonprofit work that I've been doing. So those are the big things for me for 2026. And I will add, actually, I'm going to jump on Bethany's journey, which is I'm also shutting it down a little bit at the end of the year. You got to rest and recover to be able to kind of move forward into what's new. So Nikki, if you were asking me this question in a few weeks, I think I'd have a little bit also more on 2026. So I'll end with the caveat of more to come, because we're about to sit in on what else 2026 can bring.
Yeah, it's never over. The list goes on and on. That to-do list never.
I mean, always.
Because there's always more awesomeness to give. And again, what we're all doing as entrepreneurs is we are listening. We are seeing where the gaps are, or at least we're trying, right? Where that should be the focus of all entrepreneurs, and everything that you bring to the world. And how do you not just impact, monetize, grow, connect, collaborate, all of those entrepreneur lingos that we need to add into our language. And we can't do this alone. I love seeing collaborations. I am always just paying attention to who's doing what. And if I know that there's going to be some magic between 2 people, guess what? I'm connecting them some way, somehow. But this week is scheduled purpose 4th round that we have done this. And it's really for me to publicly thank each and every one of our guests, whether they join us this week in the celebration. Bringing your stories to the BALM Global podcast truly means so much, when if it's either me saying, hey, you're supposed to be on here, or hey, can I be on your podcast? It still holds the same wait. So I just want to thank you for your awesomeness, everything that each of you are doing. And we're going to just close out with giving you about 30 seconds each. What do you want to leave our audience with? We're going to start with you, Margie.
Trust your gut about what you want to do in life. Follow your heart and take action, because people think that that the action is what is going to bring you clarity, but it's actually the decision that creates the momentum that puts you into clarity. So do that. And Nikki, I love you so much, and I love the community you created. So happy holidays. God bless.
Thank you so much, Margie. Bethany, you are up.
I think the piece of advice I can leave for this next year is that fear a lot of the time is stuff that we create to create stories to fit our narratives. You know, fear is what holds us back. Fear is the first emotion we develop. And when we can take a step back and be like, am I feeding fear into my story to stop me? Or am I looking at the facts? And just taking that time to separate those things and move forward with the facts. Don't feed into your narrative and just go forward. And yeah, I hope everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm ready for my kids to come home.
Yes, and their girlfriends.
And their girlfriends.
I can't wait to hear that story, Bethany. Thank you so much. Paul, you are up.
Yep, thank you. I guess what's coming to me right now is when I think about 2026, I would say 2026 is not asking us to do more. It's actually asking us to lead ourselves, most importantly, and if we lead others, to lead others with more coherence, because that's going to help us become a more aligned version of ourselves, right? So that we can turn our vision into impact. And so I would just say, lead from coherence.
Thank you so much, Paul. Absolutely. Again, it's going to definitely be more and more, but we've already built. There's things that are being built and we don't even know it. Yesterday, I think someone said that they have to kind of go into their toolbox of certifications that they've had for years and did nothing with. And they're now activating those things that we've invested many, many moons ago, because we're always looking for the next shiny new object, right? Thank you so much, Paul. Carly, you are up.
Yeah, I connected with an old friend of mine the other day who told me that next year is the year of the fire horse. And so I just thought I'd offer that is associated with drastic change and creation. And if you need a mantra or a vibe for 2026 that falls in this category, I'd suggest reading up on it. But I think this is what is also opportunity, right? It could be how are we, as to Margie's point, sort of getting that clarity and moving with, I'll add with moving in intention, but being true to self, right? Your journey, your change for going fire horse is still core to who you are and what you value and what you're trying to get in this world. And so I'm excited for change in year, which evolves opportunity, gives us chance to facilitate true self in the world. So I appreciate being able to join this evening, to have the conversation, to drop that little maybe inspiration in, and wishing everyone the best in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you all so much. And it's crazy because usually what happens when we're transitioning in years, usually we're like January 3rd, 4th, 5th, and we're still writing the year before, right? 2025. But what I've been noticing for myself is I'm actually typing in 2026 every single time. And I'm not sure why, because we're not there yet. None of our dates that I need to put down is in 2026. But I think a subliminal message somewhere is coming down. So I am open and ready for anything and all of it. And I'm so glad that I have you all in my community and that we can, again, see what 2026 looks like for all of us. I'm going to continue to follow you all and we'll check up on you. I'm even thinking about like interview 500. I don't know when we're going to get there, but it's going to have to be a whole live event. Just saying. Love you all. Have a happy holiday and a prosperous new year. Just lots of blessings on everything that you're doing and the people that you're serving. So as I always say, this has been amazing. Please comment, connect with each one of these individuals. We're going to be dropping their actual episodes, so you can tap into what they've done, what they're doing. It's going to be a little outdated. That's why we bring them back to reintroduce them. I love you all. Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.